Nicole.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going?
Good. We're both like so tired. And I can tell you why I'm actually tired because yesterday was literally a gluten and sugar filled day. And I feel hungover as F. Like, I feel like I got hit by a bus, man.
Oh no, what
Uh,
what outline the day for me. What how did it happen? What was the scene of the crime?
yeah. So it kind of started because my brother was in town for dinner Friday night.
hmm
And he's like here for like a conference. And so we're like, oh, we'll go to this like really nice place that we love that's in town in Boise here. And it's known for having really good pizza. And
hmm
usually what I do is I order like the wings that are like just insane, like the best wings I've ever had. I don't even know, like you can't even copy, like there's no way to copy it. And then, I get the meatballs, right? And then Taylor orders a pizza and I'm like, okay, like I'll have like one or two slices. And it turns out like the rest of the table got pizzas and they're very like specifically made like artisanal pizzas, like maybe
hmm
like a level up from pizza bakers in like Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And like they're just insane. It's a 55-year-old starter for the bread, like for what they make their dough out of. It's a 55-year-old starter. So that's like the only reason I'm like, okay, like that's like that. I feel better about eating
Mm.
that, than like Domino's or like
Mm.
something random. Anyway, so it started there. Then everyone's like, okay, we're gonna get all of the desserts on the menu. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the next day we had like a barbecue where there's brisket, right? And it's like a big thing of brisket. And I don't know if you've ever had there's like Hawaiian rolls. Do you know what a Hawaiian roll is?
No, what's that?
It's this sweet bread that comes in a roll.
Okay.
And it's like it's very, very sweet. And it pairs really well with tri-tip or steak or anything like that. So they're making like these like brisket sliders with
Mm.
these buns that just like taste really, really good. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I'll have one, right? And then there was like a cupcake there, and I was like, oh, screw it, I'll have a cupcake. Um, so I am just like now, like kind of, I literally like I feel puffy.
Mm.
I feel like I kind of like I slept like shit. Like I just had a headache. Like just every single thing points to being like hungover. Like I'm
Mm.
also super nasally.
Mm.
I notice that when I eat like sugar, like refined sugar, not like normal sugar or whatever, like it just totally like yeah, like it doesn't work out for me.
Do
So
so do you
yeah.
think question, do you think it's the gluten, or do you think it's like the glyphosate that they put in the stuff, or I'm just interested, or do you think it is actually just a
Yeah.
carb overload? You know what I'm saying? It probably.
So yeah. So I've thought about this a lot. And here's the thing, like so I don't do the honey anymore. And
Mm,
honey never made me feel nasally, never like gave me any grief, right?
mm,
If I eat something that's pretty low quality, like the cupcake I had,
mm.
pretty low quality, like not a high end organic, flour or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I literally, it makes it so like I can't really breathe that well, which is
Mm,
kind of interesting. But it's basically like a combination of shitty quality and processed sugar. Like
mm,
if it's a highly processed thing, then like I just feel it like right
mm,
away. But if it's like that high quality pizza, I didn't feel so bad after that,
mm,
like because it's like a 55-year-old starter. It's like a legit, like kind of like it reminds me of Europe when
mm,
like, how their bread doesn't really, the bread there doesn't affect me the way the bread here affects me.
mm.
Like it's shit. It's
Yeah,
completely awful. So,
that's interesting. I've also had similar experiences. It's like some processed food you almost feel immediately. But
mhm.
then, like when you go to the European type things, it takes a couple of days. It's like I can get away with
A
1 or 2
slow burn.
days. Yes, I can get away with 1 or 2 days of eating good European food like bread and things like that. But I must say, after day 3 or 4,
Yeah.
my body does start to say, "Whoa, like, okay, cool, you've had enough. Now it's time to just relax there." But
I think honestly, our body has a threshold. I think
mm,
there's a threshold, and you just like
mm,
have to be really careful to cross it,
mm,
even when it's like really nice gluten stuff,
mm,
like
mm,
not refined sugar, but like, homemade Italian pasta that's been in the family for 100 years. Like, oh, it's like making me like think of like going to Italy and getting some like carbonara. But anyway, but that was like that's why I feel so just awful right now. Like
mm,
I don't feel like myself. I feel very like almost like fragile, but like it's that hungover
mm.
sensation, which is so odd, like, and I'm also drinking Element. So I did
Nice.
get their thing because I'm so lazy. So it's like the potassium, sodium,
Yes.
and the magnesium.
Yeah. Are
And
you
so
drinking
I found
the raw
out,
one, the raw
yes.
unflavored? Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So my advice, if anyone does get the things like the electrolyte drinks that go in your
Mm,
drink, get the one that doesn't have natural flavors in it, like the
mm,
ones that are not actually flavored.
mm.
Because the natural flavors, like you don't know what's in there. Usually a lot of time there's citric acid as well in there, and some other stuff. So I just stay away from all of that. But yeah, like I like it. It's very salty. Like on the label, it says salty AF. And I'm like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. And then I like drink it and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I cannot chug this because usually I'll just chug whatever
Yeah.
like comes my way. But I was going to mention to you. So I found out one of the main causes of preterm labor. So preterm means before 38 weeks. Usually like 40 is the average, right? And usually the baby's born anywhere from 38 weeks to 42 weeks. So they
Mm,
always say 40 weeks just because it's the average. Anything 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after is completely normal.
mm-hmm.
So like my midwives are telling me that I need to start drinking magnesium and like the sodium and stuff, because apparently like my body absorbs it better. So you can drink like all the water in the world, right?
So as
But the thing
opposed to
about,
taking a pill form, is that what you're saying, or
so I
what do you
do
mean?
both. So I do
Okay.
both. So basically, she was just telling me that, well, first of all, the number one cause of preterm labor I found out is dehydration, which is super interesting, right?
Mm,
Because you can drink all the water in the world, but if you're not getting potassium, sodium, and magnesium, it's not going to absorb,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're not getting those nutrients, it's just gonna go through you,
Yeah.
which was interesting. So
Mm,
I now drink one of these in the morning, the Element, and then I take my magnesium pill, that's magnesium glycinate, at night.
mm,
So then like I have enough, but I was just like, oh, I don't want to go into like no one wants to go on preterm labor. Like you don't
no.
want to have the baby before 38 weeks. Like
Yeah.
38 weeks is fully cooked, but she just told me, she's like, yeah, like start drinking it and I think that'll help.
Nice.
So
And how are you feeling overall with the magnesium and the electrolytes? Because I was thinking that's certainly been the biggest difference for me. Like I haven't changed much
yeah.
besides upping my magnesium and my electrolytes, and my hair's better, my performance is better, my everything's better.
Well, it's day
S
two for me though. So
so
I
okay, so it's only
we have
day
to check
2,
in the
but you've
next,
been
yeah.
taking the magnesium, right? The magnesium at
Yes.
least like for a while now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love magnesium.
Mm,
Like I feel like it's so okay. I think like behind vitamin D deficiency,
mm,
magnesium is the other one. Like it's the
mm,
second, it's like the runner up, I
mm,
believe.
mm.
Don't quote me, but I think it's like those two are pretty close in terms of deficiencies in the US, at
Yeah.
least as far as I know. But every night I take it, like I'm like, oh, I'll take it around like 8 p.m. I'll go to bed around 10, right? So like it's almost like you're like taking like a melatonin, but like something that is not so profound and aggressive.
Mm,
Like it's
yes.
so subtle.
Yeah.
And like some people take it throughout the day to help with anxiety, which I think is great.
Mm,
But I just take it at night, kind of like that's like my ritual. So morning I, do this guy, do my coffee without honey now, by the way.
nice.
I'm
Nice.
never doing honey again. And also my cellulite kind of went away a little bit. Like a little, Josh, a little bit. Okay. I don't want to
But
like
it
give you the full cookie. Yeah, I don't want you to like think it's all honey.
yeah.
But y'all, like, I reduced my cellulite by cutting out freaking honey.
Have you heard
Like,
of the mag? I think I told you the Magtine magnesium as well. Did I tell you about it?
no.
Okay, so I'm now taking another magnesium,
Okay.
and I'm gonna attempt to share my screen, just to show you, because we always say we're gonna do this and then we never do it. But I'm sharing my screen now. So this is what I take. It's called Magtine.
Oh, okay.
And what it is, for those that maybe are not watching visually, but it's a specific form of magnesium that's it's a cognitive support, so it's more cognitive. It's more related to your memory and your learning, but the magnesium type is called magnesium L-threonate. So my current magnesium like sort of stack, if you would like to call it, is I take the glycinate, a bit of glycinates after my lunchtime meal, so that's like midday, and then I take two of these bad boys before I go to bed, and
Okay.
they knock you out like it's so
Oh my God. I'm gonna like order those right now.
yeah, it's quite expensive. It's quite an expensive form of magnesium, but it's
Okay.
super beneficial. So I just wanted to let you know about that. That's what I've been doing recently. It took a while for me to get it. Like, I don't know, they were back ordered. It might be a bit easier for you because I think that company, that Now Foods, is actually based in the States, so it should be easier for you to get that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like they're on Amazon, so I can get here like in a day.
Oh,
I hate to tell you
go for
that.
it. Go for it.
No, that's and just so people know too, like there's so many different forms of magnesium.
Mm,
And Josh and I previously on an episode talked about this, but like so the magnesium citrate is what's in here,
mm,
and I cannot handle it at night because what
yeah.
happens is when I take the citrate form of magnesium at night, I'm like tossing and turning all night versus the glycinate and the magtine, or I guess the magnesium the threonate or whatever
All
what we
three in
say.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
enough.
So those
Magtine.
are
Yeah.
good for night. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those are good for night. And it doesn't affect everyone apparently. Like I was talking to a friend of mine and they're like, "Oh yeah, I take like 200 of citrate, magnesium
Mm,
citrate at night before I go to bed." And I'm like, "How's your sleep?" And they're like, "Oh, I sleep amazing. Like it works for me." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Cool, man."
That's cool.
But
And
yeah.
also like I mean I've got measurable data because I wear this Oura ring. So
Yeah.
my heart rate variability is like the highest it's been in a long time, which is crazy. My sleep
Can you
still
explain what that means? Heart rate
so
variability?
so basically the variability between the beats of your heart. So the lower it is, supposedly, this is studies, the
Yeah.
lower the variability between the beats, the more stressed you are. The higher they are, the less stressed you are. That means that you've got more rhythm between your heartbeats.
Okay.
It's not sporadic. It's not like boom boom. It's like a very rhythmic beat, and it's long. It's protruded, and it shows you on a graph. It's like literally, it shows you the variability between your heart rates, and it's yeah, it's helped me tremendously, especially since I've been traveling. Like, also update for people, I'm back in South Africa, so it's been a
Yeah.
crazy few weeks for me. I've been doing loads of work overseas. I went to Madrid, and like you, I have just been eating tons of gluten. To be honest with you, I've been eating so
Yeah.
much shit. But the funny thing is, I must be honest, like my theory is the magnesium has been a buffer against me feeling even worse than I normally would be. Like, I
Mm.
really think that. And I think if you were like this perfect carnivore and you didn't drink coffee and you were low stress, I mean, who is that? Let's be honest. Which modern human is living that way? I don't know anybody. Then you probably don't have to take magnesium. But if you are a person that's working, or like you, pregnant, we're drinking coffee, so we're getting stimulants, these things affect you. So your magnesium intake
Yeah.
is important, like, no doubt about it. But especially when traveling, like when you don't know what you're going to be eating, it makes a huge. It's also like it is like a bit of a mental thing. I must be honest. Like if I take it,
Like
I
a
do feel,
ritual.
yeah, it's like a ritual.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But I've certainly found tremendous benefit in taking it. And when I don't, I do feel it. And yeah, I
No,
think it's a great
yeah.
supplement.
I will, speaking of food, okay, so I did like a little, not experiment, but since I can't eat like two steaks a day in one sitting, right? Like, you know how like I used to be like, okay, like 12 p.m. I'm eating a 10-ounce ribeye,
Yes.
right? And then I used to be like 5 p.m. I'm eating my second 10-ounce ribeye. Like literally our house was just ribeyes and like that was cool, right? Like, cause this is like pre-pregnancy. Um, and then I had the nausea. So having meat first thing in the morning was just not happening. I had to have
Mm-hmm.
some type of carb so I wouldn't throw up. And then now I'm kind of at this place where my stomach is like super small. So I really can like I can't eat as much as I definitely can't sit down and eat a 10-ounce ribeye.
Mm.
Right. Like that's not gonna happen for me. Unfortunately. So I have been tracking because I have to eat a minimum of 80 grams of protein. And let me just say, if you're not eating a steak a day, it is freaking hard to hit 80 grams of protein. Like people, if you have a tracker like
Mm-hmm.
on your phone, or if you know of a free app, there's tons of free apps out there. I dare you to track what you're eating if you think you're getting enough protein, track what you're actually eating and see
Mm-hmm.
how much protein that comes out to, because you will be shocked. You will be absolutely shocked. And yeah, so that's like basically, if you think about it, they say for pregnancy, a minimum of 60. And this all depends on also your weight, right? Like
Yeah.
your body mass and everything. But I do at least 80. And I've now incorporated, you'll love this, Josh, protein shakes in the morning. However, these protein shakes, I put 3 raw eggs, I put
Yeah.
a half cup of raw milk, I put like ice as like my water, and then I put in 1 scoop of it's like Primal Kitchen. And I usually don't like Primal Kitchen because
Mm.
I know it's owned by Heinz. And like I
Oh wow.
tried,
I didn't know that.
yeah, did you not know
Oh
that? Yeah,
wow.
like
No.
what the
Okay.
hell? Yeah, so it's been
Things
like
are
years
changing.
owned by Heinz. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I do that and it's literally like it's just so doable for me right now. Like I don't even
Mm.
have to
Mm.
think, I don't have to cook anything.
Mm.
3 raw eggs and like that recipe just like works amazing. And I also found a girl who actually is from San Diego and she makes her own um, grass-fed Swedish beef
Mm.
protein. Literally has 3 things in it, like organic beef, um, or grass-fed beef, organic like vanilla
Mm-hmm.
extract, and then like one other ingredient. It's like a 3 ingredient one. So Taylor does that one. But when I
Nice.
tried, and it's 23 grams of protein per scoop, which is
Yeah.
like so much.
Yeah.
But anyways, so like I do that, and then I also like I'll do eggs and bacon or whatever during the day. Like I'll have like a, protein obviously like in my lunch or my mid-meal, whatever. But like just to make sure that I
Mm.
actually hit what I need, I then finish my evening
Mm.
with 1 cup of Greek yogurt and like some berries.
My favorite,
So like the Greek
my
yogurt,
all-time
yeah.
favorite dessert, honestly.
Yeah.
I was pulling up my so obviously occasionally I track my macros like
Oh,
just
interesting. Okay.
so I mean take a guess how much protein. Okay, let me just read
It's
this out to you.
probably so is this when you're in Madrid, like on vacation, or
No,
is
no, no.
this
This is like
recently?
an average
Carnivore day.
Josh day. Yeah. Take a guess how much protein I consume.
I think probably 220 or 250.
Yeah, okay, you're on
Oh,
spot.
really? Okay, I'm good.
So my protein is 215. Okay, bearing in
And what
mind
did, what
I
did you eat
train
that
2 hours
day,
a
by the
day.
way?
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna go
Tell us
through.
what you ate. Okay.
So my carbs are 53 grams, my fat is
Okay.
178, and my protein is 215 grams. And then I don't know if you can see that chart. That's sort of what the
Oh my
breakdown
God, I
looks
have like
like.
the same one. Okay, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And then what I ate that day is wait, where is it? Nutrients, no macros. Oh, there we go. So I had bulletproof coffee, had
Okay.
6 eggs, cooked in butter. No, I don't know if it was cooked in butter. Had a ribeye, which is 225 grams, one of those little fucking Jumbo ribeyes. I
Yeah.
had a lot of ground beef at dinner. I had some tomato sauce, Heinz ketchup tomato
Okay.
sauce. Remember, I told you about my tomato sauce? It's still thriving. My tomato sauce addiction is still thriving, just to let you
Yeah.
know. I had full cream yogurt and a large banana. And that all came, but that just shows you, that all came to 2,272 calories, which isn't that much for the amount that I just like laid out. It just shows you how much protein you're getting
Yeah.
for and and that's a lot of food for me. Like I had to put that shit down. So like you said, that getting your 80 grams is
Yeah. You got to put
difficult
it down.
because like I have to there is occasional forcing, but it's because I've got a goal to get bigger and stronger. That's what I want to do.
So
So
the key
yeah.
thing, Josh, it's like intention.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to hit that much protein, like at least a minimum of 80, there
Yeah.
has, especially for like a woman,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be intention behind trying to get protein with every meal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I love it when doctors are like, hey, if you're making a meal, regardless of how many carbs you're eating, whatever, what is the center of your meal? Is it the protein
Mm-hmm.
or is it the bread? You
Yeah.
know, like if you're going to eat a pizza that has pepperoni on it, no,
Yeah.
that is not going to be the winning, you know,
Mm-hmm.
meal, right? If you're going to have like maybe avocado toast with 3 eggs and 4 pieces of sausage on the side, okay, right? Like that's kind of like that's like a
Mm-hmm.
doable overall thing. But I just think it's like so interesting because like even with so like I have like sometimes I like eating Euro meat. I like crave Euro meat and halloumi a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
I just love Greek stuff. But even eating like a small chicken club or chicken cob salad and like, you know, like Cobb salad, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like how it's
Yeah.
like the egg and the bacon
Yeah.
and like the ranch and like it's avocado and like it's basically just like everything, but there's like some lettuce in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm like, oh, I love this. But like the lettuce is kind of just like part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think like for most days when I'm like normal, I'm hitting about 100. It says here like 106.
Mm. Mm.
So
And
like
that's
that's
good. That's a good amount for what you're currently doing and your goals
yeah,
and things
because
like that.
I'm not crossfitting, you
No.
know, like I'm still weightlifting, but you know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah.
intensely
It's still
doing
over,
too
like you
much.
said, it's still over 80. But there was something that I was going to mention about. Oh yes. So for anybody listening, if you do want a good hack, this is why I've completely gone against the narrative of intermittent fasting, in my opinion, because getting your breakfast in, you know, getting a big breakfast in is like it's that guarantee in the morning that you're getting that protein in. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're fasting,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get that protein in. And the biggest change that I've made in my life now, even though I'm traveling and I must be honest, like I'm not eating terrible compared to the average person by all means, but I'm definitely not the perfect carnivore, and I've said this a lot.
You're more lenient.
Yeah,
You're adapting.
I'm way more lenient, but the thing that hasn't changed is I'm still eating the same amount of meat. So it definitely blunts the glucose response that I would get
Mhm.
from eating the bread. Because in the past, when I would wake up, eat a croissant, have a chocolate milkshake, have cereal, where's the protein coming from? Where's the
Yeah.
satiation coming from? You're just going to keep eating until you get your protein. And, you know, the protein leverage hypothesis, you're going to keep eating until you reach your protein goals for the day.
Yeah.
And when you have that piece of bread, but you've met your protein needs, it's very unlikely that you're going to carry on binging on it. It's literally, it's almost impossible. Like you just
I
won't do
totally
it.
agree with you because I think I told you this. I tried intermittent fasting, I think when
Mm,
I was like, actually, you know what? No, when I first started carnivore, I would eat at 9 a.m. a 10-ounce steak. Like it was pretty like spot. I just like I felt better and like my mood was better. Like I think Jordan Peterson, a lot of different psychiatrists,
mm,
they actually tell patients that are depressed or patients that have like mood disorders, they tell them to always, always, always eat breakfast, never skip breakfast, because it stabilizes your mood when you have that,
Mm.
when you have the high fat and protein. It works as like a stabilizer, almost like a pill, like
Mm.
literally like an antidepressant pill. It works to stabilize your mood like first thing when you're doing that. I will admit, like a lot of times I can't eat till like 10 or so in the
Yeah.
morning. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
naturally, I feel like,
Mm.
but I do agree with you. Like I do not fast because I feel like it opens up the doors to then have my first meal be something out of desperation,
Mm.
and something that, oh, I'm just really, really hungry, I'm gonna eat this, versus being like, oh, I have the protein. Oh, okay, like there's some toast with my meal for lunch or
Mm.
something. Okay, I'm gonna feel a lot better about that, especially when you're
Mm.
traveling, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I already got my protein in. I got 40 grams this morning. But there is something about the protein that stabilizes. Like if I have something glutinous or like very like processed or something, and I've hit my protein goal for the day, or I know I'm going to hit it for the day,
Mm.
I
Mm.
it's actually true what you're saying. Like I don't feel the effects of that. It's like the protein's like this buffer
Mm.
that helps you to break down the glucose and like kind
Mm.
of like not have that effect, which is so freaking cool. It's
And
like a natural pill.
yeah, and just you, like I just had this thought when you were talking there, is that the way I used to approach it is it was actually a vicious cycle that fed in itself. So I would eat the shitty food throughout the day, get no
Mhm.
protein, only carbs. Then I would feel bad about it. Then I would intermittent fast on top of that. So now I'm going into the following day not having
Oh.
protein. And then maybe at the end of the day, when I'm starving, I will get like a decent meal in. But now, if I've done, I don't know, if I've eaten bad or whatever, like the next day, wake up, have some eggs, have my
Yeah.
steak, carry back on it, and that I think has been a huge difference. And there's something like you don't have to, like you said, if you don't feel like a 10-ounce ribeye in the morning, you don't have to have it. Like for me, what I currently do is I wake up, I have bulletproof coffee, I have a Elements electrolytes shake, I have
Hmm.
6 eggs, either cooked in butter or whatever. Then I go to CrossFit, so that's my pre-workout. I get
Okay.
back, I chill a bit, whatever, and then I'll have like a meal at 11, 12 o'clock. I'll have steak, and then I'll have obviously a very light dinner. But me and my mom was like actually chatting about this the other day. The old saying was, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen. I don't know what the other one was, what dinner like a princess or something like that. That was an old saying that I grew up with. Like,
Oh,
yeah, eat breakfast like a king, which means eat the biggest breakfast you can. Eat
like whatever you want
yeah,
or whatever.
lunch like a queen, so like medium, and dinner should be like a dessert, like but for me, I think mine's more like that. It's like a medium breakfast, large lunch, small dinner. That's kind of like my
Mm.
schedule now. My lunch generally is my biggest meal, actually, if I think about it. So it's
Now I'm like
strange.
thinking about that because it's kind of similar. Like I feel like I used to have bigger dinners, and right now, especially
Mm.
as I told you, like my stomach is smaller because there's a human inside me,
Yeah,
you know?
forgot about that.
But like that's actually really true. And I think that's why I like to do the Greek yogurt after
Mm.
dinner,
Mm.
because like the portions are just like, do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the
Mm.
topper where like
Mm.
maybe I didn't eat enough for dinner. So having that 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and 1 cup's a good amount. Like for anyone that's eating Greek yogurt,
Yeah,
Greek
I can
yogurt, like
go ham on that shit. I
no,
love
I
that
know, but like
shit.
1 cup is like definitely like pretty significant. Like you're definitely like super full, but it's like protein full. But we have a very similar routine. We
Yeah.
both do our bulletproof coffee. I put like the butter in there, but I also put like some cream,
Mm.
no honey, and then I do my shake that has 3 eggs, right? With like the protein powder and the raw milk. And then like I'll have like my actual lunch
Hmm.
like around like 12 or 1,
Yeah.
like when I'm hungry after that. But it's so great to do that pre-workout.
Mm.
Like I just feel really good about that. But I wanted to tell you, I had to do some tests. Um, so because I haven't been so strict, going into these tests, one of them checks for gestational diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like basically when you have some people get diabetes, and it's kind of just how their placenta processes what they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no cure for it. So even if you do get gestational diabetes, like pregnancy diabetes, the only way to counter it is with exercise and diet.
Mm.
So eliminating processed things and eating more protein and fat and then exercise, right? So it's kind of funny because like I went in the test thinking like, because she's telling me like, oh, there's people that are like super healthy that do everything they're supposed to and still get it. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh God, like
But
please don't
also,
let me
what?
be one of
So,
those.
like, also my question would be like, what
Yeah.
is their definition of healthy? Because, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because
So
you
my
would get the
midwives,
yeah.
so here's the thing. So like my midwives were telling me like to try to hit 100 grams of protein a day.
Oh damn. Okay.
So
Well,
like
they cool. They can
they
stay.
they are in the know. I
Yes.
have never
Yes.
gotten
Okay.
diet or any advice from my OB before I switched to my midwives.
Hmm.
My doula is telling me the same thing. So people in the doula and midwife community, as far as I know, they have a very holistic approach to things because a lot of
Hmm.
times it's natural birth, it's natural remedies, stuff like this. So they're telling me about the magnesium. They're telling me about what to take, extra
Hmm.
supplements. They're telling me taking the organ things that I take is great. Like, you know what I mean? So, and they're like, oh yeah, raw milk, cool. Like, whatever, do you?
Hmm.
So they get it, thank God. And they're the ones
Helps.
who are really pushing the protein.
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, the protein is like literally like the amino acids come from the protein that's from meat, right? And they are literally the building blocks of life.
Hmm.
So if you're growing a life inside you, you need to get enough amino acids that come from animal, right? That comes from that protein.
Hmm.
So that's why they always say to up the protein because that's going to be the growth. And what's watch, I'm going to have like a 10-pound baby, but like,
And
like,
circling back to the magnesium. The
sorry, yeah.
magnesium
Yeah.
is the key, if you'd like to say, that unlocks the full potential of the protein, because the
Mm-hmm.
magnesium is your cells require the enzymes from magnesium to actually use the protein and actually make it work. So if you low on magnesium, like I, I often wonder if I started my journey kind of like I did now, would it have been a bit more better? Because I didn't really have a smooth start. Like everyone else I knew that started Carnivore was like, "Oh my word, this is the best thing ever!" And I mean, I was really sick, but my start was terrible, and I sort of just pushed through. And I wonder if it would have been better if I had got rid
Yeah.
of the citrates and stuck with the glycinates, maybe the magtine as well. And I wonder, I truly do, but who knows? I'm grateful for everything, but I certainly think the magnesium helps in that sense, where taking the food you're eating and actually making it. I mean, I used to get crazy, crazy heartburn when used to sleep at night, like when I first started. Like
Yeah.
I used to feel like I was sitting with a lump in my chest, and I was like, is that my heart, or is that the food? You know what I'm saying? You know when
Am I
you're sitting
dying?
there, yeah, am I dying? And that was like a constant thing. And
Yeah.
looking back now, it was probably a mixture of the magnesium citrates, which was giving me heartburn.
Yes, because I had that too.
Yeah, and
And
then
the citric
also just
acid, right?
not enough magnesium that was bioavailable from the glycinate to actually take my food and get it down. So even though I don't sleep perfectly compared to, like, I don't know, some of the people that I see that wear Oura rings, like I still sleep better. I get to sleep easier, you know?
Yeah. I had a question for you. So I guess with like carnivore starting out, because I know like, there's things called the keto flu, for
Mm.
example. Like when you cut out things and everything, and yours doesn't really sound like that, but there's also like if people do have heartburn because there are certain things where you think like, oh, like I'm taking an element supplement that has natural flavors and citric acid, and people don't even think twice that the citric
Mm.
acid could be called. Because remember I told you like I was getting bad heartburn.
Yep. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, I just resumed recording. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, I can hear you.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so you were getting bad heartburn?
Yeah, from the magnesium
Yes.
citrates, I thought I was taking the right thing. So I'm like, oh, magnesium, at least I'm taking it. And it doesn't work that way for every single person. But I also learned about papaya enzymes. So
Mm.
like when you're pregnant, you don't want to take over the counter stuff like pills. You don't even want to take, like, they don't even want you to take Tylenol. Like it's very, very strict what you can do. So there's something called papaya enzymes that you can actually take that help combat basically like anything feeling stuck here and heartburn. And it's like a natural way to do that. You know how like
Is that
pineapple
not
and
called pep?
papaya.
It's called pepsin, right? That it's a form of pepsin.
No, 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 no.
No.
It's like totally like this is like totally natural. Like it would
Oh,
say
okay.
papaya enzymes because
Okay.
like I was eating pineapple for a while and I was eating pineapple as well to combat the toast I was eating in the mornings during my first trimester
Hmm.
because the enzymes help break down the carbs and process it better.
Hmm. I've seen Carnivore
So,
Aurelius say something about that, but I didn't look too much into
yeah,
it. Yeah.
but it's not like every fruit. Like I told you the
Hmm.
other day, I made banana pancakes, remember?
Wait, so I
Okay.
got a message from Nicole, like just a random message. Josh, like I tried to make banana pancakes and I felt terrible. Like my stomach is not
Yeah,
well.
I was like, I think I died.
Yeah, yeah.
So like there's a
Yeah.
recipe you can do where it's like one banana and two or three eggs
It sounds
and you
so
put it in
like,
a
yeah,
blender.
it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
so.
yeah. It sounds so simple and easy. And so like
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll just do this. Like this will taste amazing." You put butter on them. They taste really good, okay?
yeah.
Oh my God. Like I was like hunched over, like my stomach was just like killing me. I was like, okay, like bananas are not my jam.
Hmm.
I don't think I can ever eat a banana again.
And do you
Like
think was it a ripe? Do you think it was too ripe though? Like because I know that
no, it
can
was
be.
probably the opposite.
Oh, okay.
So like not ripe enough maybe, but like either way, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like
Sorry,
screw
unripe.
bananas.
Yeah, sorry, unripe. I don't know why I'm saying too ripe. Like it wasn't
Too
ripe
ripe is
and
good. Too ripe is good because that's what people usually eat it because like
yes.
the stuff in it is broken down more to be consumed.
Yes.
So you always want to eat a fruit when it's ripe. For
Yes,
me, I'm
correct.
just like I just grab a banana. Like I haven't seen
Yeah.
bananas in a while. Like I
Was
don't
it
know what I'm
green?
doing.
Did it have like a shade of green on it?
No, it was very yellow,
Oh,
but
okay.
like
Okay.
it shouldn't have like Taylor was fine, but like I was just like, no, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, no to
I
bananas ever.
I've
Berries,
had that with
pineapple, fine.
yeah, I've had that with a papaya. We call them pawpaws over here, but
Bubbles.
yeah, I hate saying that now. And if anybody wants to know, the reason why it cut out for a second is because we have something called load shedding in South Africa, where the electricity goes out, and that's exactly what just happened. So we
At the
currently,
front door.
yeah, so we're currently on a UPS, so a universal power supply. Just to let you know, that's just a random
Just a
thing.
South Africa
Just a
thing, no
South
big
African thing.
deal.
It just goes off like 3 times a day now. So welcome back to South Africa, Josh.
Oh my God. Is that
Yeah,
because it's hot or is that just like with
it,
how
it's
you're
just the
allocating
energy.
power?
It's just the energy. Like yeah, the energy. There's a bit of a crisis in terms of infrastructure and things like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let people know
Okay.
that that's why it cut out for a
Cool.
second.
I am very
But
thankful
yeah,
that,
exactly. But back to the
yeah.
papaya. Um, I had one the one time, and I literally was man down for a full day. I couldn't even move. I thought I was dying. I was like, I was like, what happened? That is so
Yeah.
fruit is crazy powerful though. Like,
Yeah, it
although you
is.
get these carnivore guys that yeah, like will eat it with a whole bunch of meats and things like that. I tried it and oh my gosh, I felt terrible. Like I don't think I'll ever. I I, I love it. It tastes so good, but I've got
Yeah.
PTSD from thinking about that experience. My stomach was in so much pain, and I don't know
Well, and
what it
also
was.
like it still
Mm,
spikes your glucose. Remember when I
mm,
had that continuous glucose monitor for a bit
yeah.
and like it was testing my levels? Like if I did have like fruit, like it still was like the same effect, right? Like, like, oh, fresh squeezed orange juice, like it has the same effect as like if you drink a Coca-Cola in the morning.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
doesn't, I'm not talking about like processed sugar versus
Mm,
natural sugar. I'm just saying like it impacts your blood glucose levels the same. Like that is not arguable. That is like documented. That is like, so for me, if I'm eating, like I can only do the berries like at night with my Greek yogurt, which is plenty of protein. I've already hit my protein for the day.
Yeah.
So when I'm like doing that fruit, like the berries, I just tolerate the best, like
Perfect.
blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. And it's like amazing, right? It's like orgasmic. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I have
It's
my
it's like your
berries.
it's your end of day treats. And like
Yeah.
speaking of orange juice, like or oranges, my mom, who is like 64 years old, people can't believe that she's 64, by the way, because she doesn't look that 64, but
And she's
she
carnivore, right?
she's like, yeah, she's pretty much full carnivore. But she had orange juice the other day because she's hasn't been feeling too well, and I thought maybe, you know what, maybe just a bit of vitamin C won't harm you. But her fingers immediately like
Swelled.
swelled up.
Yep.
And when I eat a lot of honey or high fructose stuff, my Oura ring can't come off my finger because my fingers just swell. So everyone's
100%.
different, you know, everyone's different.
No, Josh, that's really
Yeah.
actually that's really that happens to me too.
Yeah.
Like with because there's one place that did orange juice, and you remember how Jumbo in Amsterdam, like they'd have the orange juice machine.
The fresh one.
So we
Yeah.
would get that. Yeah. And I noticed that my rings weren't fitting as well. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of like gaining weight,
Yeah.
you know? So I think that my weight gain, remember we were talking about this? I think it
Yeah.
was actually from the orange juice I was consuming because that was like 12 p.m. first meal of the day, you know? And like, it's like, oh, here's, 20, 30 grams of sugar at least.
Yeah. It
So,
totally, like, I would rather. So my diet now consists of, you know, obviously beef, whatever, lots of avos because avos to me are low sugar
back on
fruits.
the Avo.
Oh yeah, and they are, I enjoy avos, and South African
Yeah. Yeah.
avos are amazing. They're like the size of my face, so I love them.
Yeah.
And some dark chocolate, to be honest, because dark chocolate is it's got a ton of what do you call them? I don't want to say endorphins. That's what humans
It's
have.
antioxidants.
Antioxidants. So
Yeah.
dark chocolates, I would rather have dark chocolate over orange juice. That's just the state I'm in at the moment. And I would rather have rice over most fruits. And that's just where I'm at. Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
everyone has to do that, but that's just the way my body reacts to fructose. And I think it's the high impact that it has on my glucose in such a short time span.
Yes.
And if you're a healthy person, that's okay because it's going to immediately, you know, replenish your glycogen in your muscles and whatnot. But I think if you're coming from somebody like us who've had difficulty with weight, things like that, I think there's definitely an effect that it has, those sugary fruits, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Paul Saladinos of the world or Carnivorelius, like they probably never went through a fat phase. They
No.
probably never went through a phase where like they didn't have abs. Like I can kind of just look at Paul and I can kind of tell, that he's always been an active surfer and he's probably always been in shape. So I think that like the fruit thing, like it's really hard because where we come from, like it's not going to give us the benefits of healing that we need. Like that most people that lead to carnivore are in like an area of desperation. Like if I was eating as much fruit as Paul or like for my size or whatever, I probably wouldn't have healed my stomach and I probably would have had other issues and been like, oh, this carnivore thing is BS. Like you have to go in, if you're trying to heal something, you kind of have to go in pretty hardcore and then through the years lessen up and see what you can handle because that's the way that you're going to find out what works for you. Because remember, it's like an elimination diet first, right? I think Paul is one of the people that can, and Carnivorelius, they can handle the fruit really well. And that's awesome. But like, I
And I
think for
wish they
like
would
90% of people,
yeah, I wish they would use
yeah,
their platform to
use the
contextualize
context,
it.
right?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
contextualize it a bit better because
Yeah.
it's just not feasible. And like while we're on the subject, like the biggest issue I had, I posted this video on Instagram the other day, like, and I got good responses and things. The biggest issue I have is that they make this way of eating seem so inaccessible to the average person because the
Yeah.
barrier of entry is, oh, I have to eat only grass fed, grass finished. I have to have organ supplements. I have to sun my balls every day. I have to do all these things, and then once I've done all of these things, then I can be welcomed into your world. And it's so not true. Like
Yeah.
starting with the basics, like we've just said, we literally actually fuck it, like protein and fat to a certain extent. If you can
Yeah.
just prioritize that, and I don't care if you're still smoking, just carry on smoking
Yeah.
right now. Just do that.
Just
And
get literally 80 grams of animal-based protein a day.
yeah,
Start
and
with
if you
there.
can,
Yeah.
if you can get that in your breakfast, like if you, I think somebody said like the 60-gram breakfast rule. I think I'm making this up in my head, but something like if you can get that in your breakfast, great, because that's going to change everything else. And then whatever you eat from there,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter at this point in time. But changing your breakfast can often be the biggest difference, you know?
It
From
like sets you up for success,
yeah,
I think. It just
yeah,
propels you for having like a great
mm-hmm.
day. You know, like you can't really backtrack a 60-gram breakfast, a
No,
60-gram protein breakfast. You know, like it's there. You're
mm,
halfway there. You might as well like continue and like do that. But yeah, I would just say
exactly.
like, I guess to people, like to your point too, like it's kind of elitist to say like you can only eat grass-fed beef
Mm,
and you can only eat, you know, like from like your local farm or something. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
because not everyone can do that. Like, not everyone has access to that. And so it's just like, dude, do the best you can. Like you said, let's take a step back.
mm,
Try to get like 100, like set a goal of like 100 grams of
mm,
protein a day.
mm,
And however you get that, like cool, try to do it from animals, right? Like
mm,
meat based or animal based protein. And like you're solid. Like you'll see some type of improvement
mm,
if you're going from like the standard American diet and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to now just getting 100 grams of protein a day. You're going to see how hard it is. You're going to see how you have to eat protein with every meal.
yeah,
And you're
yeah,
going to find creative ways to like get it in. Like maybe like with me, with like the raw eggs that I just put in my protein shake. So I'm like, okay, like we got it, you
mm,
know?
mm.
So I don't know. I think that's good advice.
Yeah, and like you've said before as well, just tracking your food is like one of the best things because that's an eye opener. And it's, I'm not saying it's accurate. Like what I just read out to you, there's no ways that's accurate because I don't know if it was 225 grams or 400
Yeah.
grams. But what I'm saying is it gives you an idea, and that's all you need. You just need an idea of what you are eating. And I think if you look at it on an app, you might be shocked at how much shit
Oh,
you're
yeah.
eating and how little protein you're eating. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a great place to start, you know? It really is.
It's hard. Yeah. And like, I don't know. Dude, it's like hard. And I always tell people if you're like trying to conceive, like this rule
Mm,
of like getting the protein is extra important because just like how your body's going to function, like if it doesn't have enough vitamin D, if it doesn't have enough magnesium, like these are other things that trigger other organs and how those organs
mm,
work, you know? So like
mm,
what we were talking about today, like dude, like vitamin D is like responsible for like so many different organs and functions in the
mm,
body. And if you're deficient,
mm,
then like a lot of it's not going to work right.
mm.
And it's the same thing with magnesium. You know, like these things you need to get
Yeah.
to make sure you're, you know, ready to go.
And I
By the way,
think
there's like a fly in
I
here and
see
it's like
that.
freaking me out. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what's going on?
And I think getting back to it, I think the magnesium synthesizes the vitamin D and makes it into what it actually is. So
Oh,
again,
then there you
going
go.
back to magnesium, like if you don't have that, all that sunning your balls, it's not going to help because
Yeah.
you don't have the magnesium that's going to help you convert that into vitamin D. And it's very interesting. I think it's the biggest. It's made the biggest difference, certainly to me, coming back to it because I started with it, I went completely off it. I cut out salt. Even I don't know if you remember. I told you I cut
I
out
remember that.
salt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
Cause
did
there's
not go
two
very well.
camps for it. So you're just like
Yes.
freaking out. You're like, what the hell is going on? I
Yeah.
will tell you that like the sunning your balls. So obviously I don't have balls, but
Yeah.
I love being naked in the sun.
Oh,
Like
it's
there's
so
just
good.
something about it. And we're going to Palm Springs for our baby moon coming up. So like we're going
Hmm.
to San Diego for a little bit and then Palm Springs. And like there's these bungalows we stay at that like have their own walled like backyard.
Oh, nice.
or like courtyard thing. So
So
like
when
no
you
one can
review
see, but
it,
the
you're gonna
sun
put
comes
there
in.
like you can sun your
Yeah.
balls here. You need to put that.
You can sun your balls here, no problem. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm going to do. But I will say too, like, so I'm in the third trimester right now,
Hmm.
and like I have not changed anything. Like I still do my normal four weightlifting workouts a week. I do like my walking and like pickleball once a week, golf once a week. So everything's basically the same. So I think it's making it super because like I only have like 2 months left. I'm like 7 months pregnant. And so it's
Nearly
just
there.
like, yeah, no, I know, but it's just like staying active has been
Yes.
like the biggest, and just like making healthy choices. Like you guys know, like I still like how people say it. I still live it up, and like I'll eat gluten and sugar from time to time. Like that's okay. Like my body responds well. And by the way, all my glucose tests I was telling you about like came back phenomenal apparently.
Nice.
So like my hemoglobin and like the risk of diabetes is
Yeah.
like
Your
she's
hemo
like
your
it's
your
so
HbA,
low.
I think it's your HbA1c, your hemoglobin is that your average
Is
for three
super
months.
high.
Nice.
So she said super high, meaning there's a lot of protein in my blood or
Oh,
something.
okay. Okay.
And then I had to get like a shot. So that was like the one thing. Like, okay, I haven't gotten a shot and like I'm not against and by the way, I'm not against like vaccines or whatever. Like I don't give a fuck what people do. Like you can do whatever you want. I don't care. But I hadn't gotten a shot in so long, and like this girl, like I'm RH negative, so I have to have certain like I have to have a certain protein. I think I explained this in the last
Yes.
podcast, and it was new to me. And basically, I have to get this shot called Rogam
Yeah.
at 28 weeks because what happens is if I don't, and my baby has different blood type than me, like not negative blood type, but positive blood type, then what happens is if her blood mixes with me, like I become what's called sensitized, and I'll have future issues with pregnancies in the future because of
Mm.
our blood mixing. So that could be if I end up having to get a C-section, I'm in a car accident and our blood mixes, or I just deliver her and she has a cut on her arm and I have a cut in my area
Yeah.
and it mixes. So like there's all these different things. But she like put the shot in my arm and I was like so getting like anxiety about it because like I don't want anything foreign in my body.
Mm.
I like looked up as much ingredients as I could, and there was like less mercury in it than like if you ate 3 ounces of tuna. So like I kind of was like, okay, whatever. Like there's worse.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola is probably worse for me.
Yes.
But she puts it in and like I'm like, oh, I don't feel anything. She starts pushing it in, Josh. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. I'm like, okay, ow, ow, ow. Like, I'm like, that is like, what
I'm
the
getting
hell?
shivers just like I felt that.
Really?
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, yeah, it's a really like thick serum. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Oh
And
gosh.
I ended up going home. I ended up napping for like 2 hours,
Oh
which
no.
I don't normally like
Yeah.
nap now. So, anyways, so I'm fine. I'm alive. I didn't
Nice.
have like an adverse reaction to it, thank God. But that was like my experience getting a shot like for the first time, like a really long time. And it was a thick boy. So,
Gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I
No,
lived.
that's good. That's good. I'm happy to hear. I think the last time I got
Yeah.
one was when I actually went to America to go study. I had to get like yellow fever and all these things put into my body, and I was not impressed. Like I,
Oh
I
yeah.
just got
Well, it's
shivers.
just
Like
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, like the prick doesn't hurt. Like when they actually like prick you, it doesn't
Mm,
hurt. But like when they push it, like the stuff in, like the
mm,
substance into it, it's just like,
yeah. No.
oh. And then it was just like a while. I was like, this seems like I'm in like a loop. This is taking a while,
Yeah.
like for you to push this into my arm. Cause usually it's just like, cheat, cheat. And
Yeah.
then like it's like done. But this was like, cheat.
You could actually like feel the serum going into your
Yes.
body. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, but if
Oh.
you don't get it, you run the risk of like not being able to have future kids.
Because I know we
So
spoke about
it's
you
like,
weighing up like,
yeah,
do I do this or do I not? So obviously you made the decision, and yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason behind it. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So, anyways, but everything's going well and I'm just chugging along. You're back in South Africa.
Yeah, I'm
And
keen to get.
yeah.
We should be back on like we had a little bit of a schedule. Not, I mean, it hasn't been crazy, but we had. I
No, you
mean,
were just in Madrid.
we'll get back on level grounds as soon as possible. I look
Yeah.
forward to it. But yeah, this was a super fun catch up, and yeah, I look forward to the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Obviously,
Yes.
goes a long way to help people find our work. And yeah, anything
Do
else you want
it.
to end off with? Do it.
Do it. Do it. Eat your protein and like,
Yeah,
subscribe. Do
yeah.
it. No, I'm good.
See you in the
Bye,
next one.
everyone.